Welcome back to our series of educational videos for Northern Virginia homeowners. My name is Frank Falker, and I'm joined again, as always, by the expert, Mr. Jeremiah Davies, president of Orion Home Improvements. How are we doing today, Jeremiah?
Frank, I'm absolutely fantastic today.
I'm so glad that you're here again with us. Got an important topic to cover today that is on the minds of homeowners, especially when they're thinking about selling their home. And it has to do with those nagging projects that they probably should have taken care of before, but now their listing agent, their real estate agent is saying, wow, we got to get this fixed and that fixed before we can list this house, before we can sell it. And so all at once they're looking at thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars in remodeling, repair, and improvement before they can sell their house. When somebody's thinking about this and their real estate agent is telling them they need to get these repairs done, what is your advice relative to, should you invest the money now and then potentially command a higher price in the market? Or should you let the new buyer be the one who does those repairs and then offer them the house at potentially a lower price point? Where do you come down on that one?
Well, Frank, I guess my stance is almost neutral, and it's kind of a washout question. But every homeowner's situation is different. Anytime you're selling your home, there's different reasons and motivations. Now, I will say that 9 times out of 10, the investments that are needed to get a home to either sell at a better price, move quicker, or draw a better kind of audience as far as potential buyers go, projects will help get the house in a place, in a position, in a beauty to allow that to happen. So while it does come down to, what's your individual situation, most projects that you do, because of the headache that goes into kind of getting the project together, the time involved in getting it all done, a new buyer doesn't want that. Most buyers want a move-in ready home. So you can actually command a better price than the cost of the investment to get these done when you go to sell that home.
Yeah, that makes sense. I certainly, if I were buying a new home to me, whether it's a pre-existing home or not, I don't want to move in and then start to do a bunch of repairs. And I know darn well my wife's not going to be happy about all of that. We want to move into a house that's ready for us to enjoy and live in. So what types of repairs and upgrades give you the most bang for the buck? I mean, I know that different things you can do. I once owned a house that had a pool. And what I heard over and over again was that there's actually not any additional value brought by the pool, because some people absolutely do not want a house with a pool. But other people do. But there are other things I imagine that you could add that will give you at least some of your money back. Are there some repairs and improvements you can do that have a higher ROI than other types?
Absolutely, there are. And for these kind of suggestions, I'm going to take a contractor completely out of the mix. This is going to be some homeowner, do-it-yourself kind of items that can really bring a lot of value for listing that home and getting it ready to go. The first one would be, go through and look at all the door handles on all your interior doors. Do they have kind of an old and kind of faded finish on them? If that's the case, for less than $100, you can probably go get a bunch of new doorknobs and change them up, and now it looks like it's sparkly and brand new. Take that same and apply it to your kitchen. If you've got small knobs and handles on your kitchen and the finish doesn't look like it's all that great, changing that little bit of hardware can make a huge impact visually. First impressions make a big difference for a very small impact. Once you move from kind of taking care of some of those small finish items, fresh coat of paint will do fantastic. Looking at removing a lot of personal items from the home, pictures and clutter and things of that nature. What you want to do is you're really trying to position the home so that the potential buyers, when they walk in, they can imagine themselves living there. After you kind of take care of some of those do-it-yourself things, that's when you move into the contractor arenas. Now, smaller projects with the best bang for the buck. Imagine walking into your home, and if your home has that dark entryway, kind of a shaded foyer, by putting in a full glass door, as long as your HOA allows it, will brighten that up and make a huge impact. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people, after putting a new door in, just be absolutely blown away by the beauty and quality of a door and all the light that it brings in. So with those items right there, some people say, get a new deck or do a new kitchen or refinish the bathrooms. That's where it's at. We have thousands and thousands of dollars and weeks spent on doing these kinds of things where a door can be swapped out in a single day. So that would probably be my advice on the low end, best bang for your buck improvements.
Boy, that's great stuff. Great stuff. And I know exactly what you mean, especially sometimes center hall colonial type homes. I have a very dark entryway like that, and I can see exactly what you mean, all the light coming through. Now, I've also heard you speak about this topic, and you talk about how so many potential buyers first see a home on a computer screen, and you talk about things that can cause that home to pop off the screen and really cause them to want to go out and see it in person. What are the types of things we can do to help that? Almost like the digital version of curb appeal.
That's exactly what it is. And it just comes from trial and error. Find out what the best time of day to take some photos of your home are with the light outside, and really make sure that you're doing a good job on the landscaping. It does not cost a lot to hire a landscaper to come in and really beautify a home. For just a few $100s, you can get everything trimmed up, remulched, and a few flowers planted, and go from kind of ho-hum drab to just really amazing. Outside of that is, you don't want to get into a point where if you're doing these projects, picking some amazing colors that might feel great for you, but kind of turn some other potential buyers off. So when you're looking around the neighborhood, try to see what blends in the neighborhood as far as some other colors and tones that are being used. That way you're not getting too crazy. If it's your home and you're going to stay there forever, I say go hog wild. Do what makes your heart happy. But if you're getting ready to sell, make sure you're doing what makes the majority of people happy, and that's going to be some neutral tones. So that's what I would say as far as getting the house to pop off the screen. The lighting, making sure the landscaping's done, and if you're doing any replacements, go with kind of neutral tones that mimic the neighborhood.
That's great stuff. Excellent advice. Well, we're just about out of time here. I wanted to wrap up with a question that may be on the minds of someone watching who is not getting ready to sell their home today. As I mentioned, I've heard you talk about this topic before and how often people say to themselves, geez, the new roof looks great. The new kitchen looks great that we did in order to get the house ready to sell. Why didn't we do this years ago? And I've heard you talk about the fact that maybe it would have been better if you had done it years ago and then been able to get a few years enjoyment out of it. Let's say we know that we're planning on selling in 5 years or so. What sort of things should we be thinking about today that we can enjoy today and are going to have a big impact on the value of our home when we sell it?
I think that you kind of hit the nail on the head with a couple of things. While a roof is going to be the most important piece of protection on a home, do not let that get away from you. If you're going to be doing a roof replacement at the very end, you could run into other issues that kind of catch us off guard. So if roof is causing any issues, get that replaced right away. Make sure you have a transferable warranty that lasts longer than however long you want to own the home, so you can add that value when you sell it. But the ones that make people happy, that they want to enjoy before they sell, are going to be two things. All season rooms, 3 season rooms. You get a sunroom, a 3-season room. It adds a little bit more floor space to your house. People really enjoy those, and I feel that most people selling have actually enjoyed that. And then the last one would be kitchens. A kitchen is where you spend the majority of your time, cooking and being with your family. By having a functional, beautiful kitchen, enjoy that for a couple of years before you actually sell it. You're still going to get a great return on that investment, but the return you get by enjoying it for a couple of years is way better than the financial that you put in your pocket.
That's great stuff. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Well, Jeremiah, I appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us once again, and I thank you guys for watching. Be sure to join us again for our next educational video for Northern Virginia homeowners.